Good day, everyone. My research assists diagnosing service quality of Malaysian invalids using sentiment and topic modeling to analyze user feedback on TNG invalid on GrabPay. Malaysia's invalid market has grown fast. BNM data shows transaction volume went from 541 million to 642 million in just 7 months, and TNG Invalid and GrabPay sit at the top of that market. But both platforms still generate a lot of negative user feedback, and nobody's really analyzing it systematically. The tools that exist fall short in 3 ways. Better and similar lexicon-based tools can handle English. LDA-style topic models miss the context in short informal reviews, and no prior study has ever compared platform sentiment against actual BNM market data. So you can't tell whether complaint signal a real internal problem or just a broader market shift. So this study has 3 goals. First, measure sentiment with mBERT and compare it to the vendor baseline. Second, the BERT topic to identify what's actually driving the negative reviews. Third, bring in BNM market data to check whether sentiment shifts are platform-specific or market-driven. The end product is a survey priority matrix, a ranked list of what each platform should fix and in what order, built from observed user behavior rather than survey responses. 3 frameworks shaped the analysis: TEM and UTAUT to explain how repeated serve failures, chip away at trust and push users to switch platforms, serve calls reliability and responsiveness dimensions, map it closely onto the payment and customer service issues. We later found in the data. As for the gaps, no one has applied multilingual BERT to Malaysian invalid reviews. BERT topic hasn't been used in the Southeast Asian fintech context, and most prior studies rely on service rather than actual review text. This study addresses all 3. The data is 5,109 Google Play reviews, 3,834 TNG Invalid, and 1,279 for GrabPay, collected from the Malaysian store between September 2025 and March 2026, alongside 7 months of BNM statistics. Cleaning the GrabPay data took a few steps. Fourth, removing non-Malaysian reviews using Language Maker. They narrowed to payment-related feedback using domain keywords. Pre-processing used a dual stream design. One stream kept English and emojis for mBERT. The other standardized them for BERT topic. Since the 2 models have quite different requirements, TNG Invalid shows the classic J-shaped distribution. People either love it or hate it, with very little in between. GrabPay skews heavily negative, but that's largely an artifact of the keywords filter, rather than a true reflection of overall quality. The more interesting pattern is TNG rating dip. In November and December 2025, review content linked in November to a viral social media dispute, and December to an app update on the 22nd that triggered crashes, OTP failures, and facial recognition errors. Ratings bounced back by January, so these were discrete events, not a structural decline. mBERT hit 81.97% accuracy, beat Vader by about 21 percentage points. But the more important number is negative class recall. Vader only caught 50% of genuinely negative reviews. So if you were running Vader as a monitoring tool, half of all real complaints would go undetected. mBERT gets that up to 86%. In a live system, That gap represents thousands of user complaints that would otherwise be invisible to the operations team. Performance was consistent across both platforms, which confirms the model handles different crops comparisons well. For TNG Evaluate, the dominant topic is payment failure and customer service at 57%. What's notable is that payment terms and customer service terms ended up in the same cluster, suggesting user experience a compounded failure. The payment breaks and then support can't fix it either. The second largest topic, account and NFC card issues, is specific to TNG's physical card integration and has no equivalent in GrabPay. For GrabPay payment failure, refund and driven linked charges account for 71%. In a super app, payment dispute often get tangled up with red cancellation or food delivery errors. Top-up failure at 13% is also worth flagging. Users report money leaving their bank but never arriving the wallet, which is a direct hit to trust. This brings me to what I think is one of the most useful findings. TNG Evaluate's negative sentiment ratio jumped from 30% in October to nearly 59% by December. Over that exact same period, B&M data shows national e-money volumes keep growing, 590 million in November, 622 million in December. The market was expanding, not contracting. That divergence tells us TNG's problems were its own, not something affecting the whole industry, and the fact that OEML balances grow uninterrupted suggests users weren't abandoning invalids. They were more likely shifting to competing platforms. The service priority matrix pour everything into a ranked action plan. P1 and P2 payment failure and customer service for TNG, and payment failure with driver charges for GrabPay are flagged critical. They are persistent. They dominate the negative review value, and they need structural fixes, not quick pitches. The three high priority items are more stable and call for process improvements. P6 and P7, the app crash and biometric issues were concentrated in December and gone by January, so staged rollouts and regression testing are the right response there, not major engineering overhauls. Connecting back to theory, recurring payment and support failures, a causal trust, which prior Malaysian research identifies as the strongest predictor of invalid continuance. Practically, both platforms lead to treat payment reliability and customer support as top priorities. TNG has the added challenge of its NFC card integration, something GrabPay simply doesn't face. GrabPay should look at separating payment dispute resolution from the rate and delivery flow. Two limitations were some mentioning the English-only filter probably underrepresents Malaysia and Chinese-speaking users, and GrabPay's keyword sampling means the two platforms' sentiment levels aren't directly comparable. In summary, Embird clearly outperformed Vader, especially in catching negative reviews that Vader would have missed. Our topic showed that payment failures and customer service inadequacy are the core issues on both platforms, and the B&M benchmark confirmed that TNG's December deterioration was platform-specific, not market-driven. Together, these findings feed into a service priority matrix that gives both companies a correct starting point for improving user retention. Thank you.